Good morning, everyone. Happy Monday. Saagar, what are we up to today?
We have an amazing show for everybody today. We're going to talk a little bit about Jeffrey Epstein, so there's some interesting developments in that case. Journalist Zed Jelani, great friend of the show, he's going to stop by. We're going to talk about Elizabeth Warren, foreign policy, and how everybody compares. And then Eric Byler, he's actually a former Intercept journalist, or maybe current, and he actually escaped those wildfires in Australia. He's got some exclusive footage that we're going to be able to take a look at. We're going to ask him about his experience. We're tracking that story very closely.
Yeah, crazy. He was there with his family. He lives in Australia. He was there with his family and had to escape with these little kids. So we'll talk to him about that and the broader implications. But we wanted to start with Jeffrey Epstein. So 60 Minutes did a deep dive into the facts, the evidence surrounding Epstein's death. This was the result of a 5-month-long investigation that they undertook. And
let's take a listen.
There was some stuff. Yeah, let's take a listen to what happened.
I have never seen 3 fractures like this in a suicidal hanging. Sometimes there's a fracture of the hyoid bone or a fracture of the thyroid cartilage.
But not 3.
Very unusual to have 2 and not 3. And going over 1,000 jail hangings, suicides in the New York City state prisons over the past 40, 50 years, no one had 3 fractures.
All right, so that's Dr. Bodden, who you're listening to. Important to note, hired by Epstein's
hired by the Epstein
brother,
family.
so keep that in mind. But in addition to that point about the 3 bones, this is a little graphic, but you see actual pictures of Epstein in this piece. And so allegedly he hung himself, right? The marks around his neck are down at the bottom. Versus, and this is what Bodden also points out, normally in a hanging, of course, the noose slips up and it would be here. That was one of the things that was unusual. Also, the noose that they claim, that he used to do this is completely clean. His neck looks very bloody. The noose is completely clean and doesn't seem to match up with the marks on his neck. So
wow. Well, and so again, but here's the thing: just because Bodden was hired by Jeffrey Epstein's family, he's a famous forensic pathologist. I mean, he's not a nobody here, and there's a reason that 60 Minutes and a lot of other news organizations have decided to at least highlight his work. This is not a quack doctor. Is basically what I'm trying to say.
Yes.
And the main reason that this matters is so much of the uncertainty is because of Jeffrey Epstein and all the coterie of the people around him, of their ability to manipulate government findings, the press, and so much other, that we have no ability to have any of the trust in the institution. So when the Attorney General and the Department of Prisons comes out and says, no, this is BS, like he absolutely killed himself, I don't believe you. And it's not because I'm a conspiracy theorist. It's because Epstein walked away from, with a sweetheart deal after being found as running an international sex ring. It's because, it turns out that, the Prince Andrew is implicated, the former president, Bill Clinton, all these other people who flew on the jet, so many different times. It's one of these stories which just totally encapsulates how rotten the American elite is, because once again, you're going to expect ABC and some of these other places to cover this story? No, we already know. We have definitive evidence that they covered it up.
Right.
We can't trust anybody when it comes to Epstein.
Well, I think you're exactly, and that's why this story is so significant beyond, he and the tentacles he had into the halls of the elite and the rich and famous in this country, and really globally significant in and of itself. But what it says about the breakdown of trust in America, that people would go, no. We're calling you, because also there's the camera that would have caught the angles
then
going.
The footage was gone.
Happens to have not worked. The guards happen to be asleep, They happen to, rather than, this is another thing that they talked about on 60 Minutes that Dr. Bodden talked about, is when he was found, he had allegedly been dead for about 2 hours. That's what the autopsy revealed, is that when he was found, he'd been dead for 2 hours. Well, that should have been treated like a crime scene. His body should not have been moved, and yet we have no pictures or images of how he was found, because they immediately took him out and took him. Now, look, maybe that's just an error on their part, right?
It's a lot of errors.
Maybe it's just an accident that that camera, that one critical, maybe it just happened that these guards, who were both working overtime and had been overextended, were tired, and so they didn't do the job that they were supposed to do. But when you put all those pieces together and you put up the inconsistencies with the marks and the evidence from the autopsy with past suicides in jail, people are going to have real questions,
Right.
and they don't trust the government when they say there's nothing to see here.
And again, let's go to the larger picture, which is Jeffrey Epstein's madam, Epstein's alleged madam for her lawyers, or Epstein's alleged.
Don't get us canceled here.
Epstein's alleged madam, Ghislaine Maxwell, who allegedly participated in many of these sex acts and procured young women for Jeffrey Epstein. Where the hell is she? Right? So Page Six has a story last week which says that she's been shuttling between the U.S. and U.K. She is the daughter of a former media magnate in the United Kingdom, and according to Page Six, buried down there in the bottom, is that very powerful people who have a lot to lose if whatever happened to Jeffrey Epstein comes out are hiding Ghislaine Maxwell all over the world.
I'm shocked.
It's like you have an international sex ring. It gets uncovered by the guy. He goes to prison. Then he dies. And now the person, the main accomplice. By the way, where is the U.S. Department of Justice? Why is this woman's passport not canceled? Or why is she not before a U.S. court? Next time she comes through a port of entry, I think all of us would appreciate a little bit of questioning. I mean, what the hell is going on here? And again, it's like these things just pop up very randomly. These little stories, and you have to draw a thread in between them. The Prince Andrew can't find Ghislaine Maxwell because he's like, please come out and clear my name. And she's like, no, I'm not going to clear your name.
Right.
You clearly did it.
And it's the two-tier system of justice where if you have the power, the money, and the connections, you can get off scot-free, no questions asked. Right. And that's what you see with her here as well.
Hashtag, where is Ghislaine Maxwell? Tweet it. You won't regret it.
There you go. We're going to tell you what's on our radars. That's next.